As your next author is both a musician and a writer, so he's not just some nerd. He is a member of the band Ghost Star and the author of Half Resurrection Blues. He'll be reading a selection from the opening of Half Resurrection Blues while accompanied live on piano from Aki Bermir, the pianist of Ghost Star. Please welcome Daniel Jose Older.
What's going on? Are you having a good time? Are you sure? Okay. So, Aki Bamis. You can clap. That's what happens when we say people's names, it means clap. The band. The artist. Mr. Author. It's very awesome to be here. I wore my vest. I don't do that, so you're welcome. This is the public premiere of my vest. Thank you. I also want to say that I fucking love Twitter. Are we allowed to swear? We are, right? Because that's half my piece that I'm gonna read, so I hope so. When people say, sometimes people are like, it's just Twitter, right? Boo. I just showed them a screen cap of one of my first tweets to @itsnazb a year ago, this month, and then a picture from our wedding 2 months ago. So you can applaud that too. I got married, motherfucker. I met my wife on Twitter, and you can't take that away. You can't say it's just Twitter after that. I mean, how many people have found love and hate on Twitter? I don't actually show random strange trolls a screen cap from my wedding, now that I think about it, but I would. Anyway, all right. It's just past 11 p.m. on December 31st, that dizzy in-between time when we're not quite here, but not yet there, and hip young white kids crowd the trendy streets of Park Slope, Brooklyn. It's not really my scene. Crap like this usually bores me. But tonight, I am far from bored. Tonight, I am hunting. My translucent-ass bosses at the Council of the Dead were all kinds of vague about this one. No explanation, just a photo of a man slid across the table with icy fingers. This is your target, Carlos. His name is Trevor Brass. He's going to try and bring a group of college kids into the underworld on New Year's Eve. Do your thing. Which thing? An icy pause. Eliminate him. And me, care to elucidate further? And them, nope. And what can really be said to that? They're dead. They don't have to elucidate shit. I don't mind, though. Makes things more interesting. Oh, and protect the Entrada at all costs. Listen. The dead are good for coming up with some last-minute, oh, by the way, type bullshit. Protect the Entrada. An Entrada is an entrance to the underworld. There's only a couple scattered around the city, and they're supposed to be well guarded by a team of fully dead council soul catchers, and impossible to get through all that bullshit, but really, it happens. Soul catchers have other things to do, it turns out, than stand around flickering doors to hell. Protocols tighten and then slack again. The particular Entrada they're referring to is in a shady grove in the middle of Prospect Park, not at all far from these Park Slope shenanigans. It's not hard to imagine whatever this grinning fellow in the picture is up to has something to do with breaching through. How they expect me to simultaneously track the dude down and keep him from getting to the Entrada is another question, but that's not their concern. The council tosses whatever garbled mandate they've regurgitated from their eyes in the field, and it's on me to sort through the chaos. So I nodded, pocketed the picture, and walked out the door. I see my Mark standing perfectly still in the middle of all that hootenanny, laughing his ass off. And that is when it hits me. This dude is not dead. Here I was assuming that because the New York Council of the Dead brought me in, I would automatically have another fated shroud on my hands, some errant phantom trying to make it back or otherwise disturb the delicate balance of life and death. But this fellow isn't faded or translucent. He is breathing. His memories are not closed books the way dead memories are. And yet, by the look of things, he's not fully alive either. I squint through the crowd at him, not even trying to conceal my intentions anymore. He is like me. Another in-betweener, and not just one of these half-formed, not quite here, purgatorious motherfuckers. Trevor is full-fledged flesh and blood, alive and dead at the same time, both and neither, like me. I've never met anybody like me before. So instead of just ending him right then and there, I walk up and offer the dude one of my malagueñas. Just like that. The very idea of doing this is so ridiculous that it shudders through me like the tickle of an invisible hand, and pretty soon we're both standing there, smoking away and laughing like assholes. We're definitely in the same curious predicament, but unlike me, Trevor's not at all concerned with blending in. In fact, he is determined to stand out. "What up, douchebags and douchebagettes?" Trevor hollers at the crowd. I found the one other being like me in the universe, and he is a total jackass. Trevor turns to me, face suddenly sharp, and says, "It's time. Let's go." We move quickly, with purpose. I dodge a hodgepodge of hipsters and homeless rich kids, and then we dip through the fresh-smelling darkness of the park and down a narrow path through the trees. He must have realized he'd been made and cut out before the college kids showed up. But what would an in-betweener be doing bringing a bunch of co-eds into hell? My man has fashioned himself into a traitorous tour guide of the afterlife. I close my eyes and imagine the land of the dead overrun by oversized, pasty tourists, thousands of bubbly Brads and Bradettes, snapping pictures and sipping Frappuccino whatevers. Fuck. I really should have just taken them out when it was simple. Now we have arrived. The underworld entrance is a gaping void beneath drooping tree branches. It's not black, it's just emptiness. The air is crisp with new rain and a murmuring breeze. If Trevor touches that void, it's game over. He'll disappear into a relentless, hazy maze of wandering souls. With about 10 feet to go before the entrance, he makes a break for it. I sprint forward in a ferocious, lopsided lunge, unsheathing the blade from my cane as I go. It leaves my hand like a bullet. For a second, all I hear is that terrible whiz of steel cutting through air, and then the even more terrible renting of flesh. And that sound means that I win. But for once, it doesn't feel so good to win. Trevor collapses heavily an arm's length from the entrada. I approach. With a trembling hand, he holds up a photograph of a girl. I take it. I can't remember the last time I said this. Maybe I've never said it, but this chick is fine as hell. Not just fine, though. There's something about her gaze, the way she holds her chin, the shadow of her collarbone that makes me want to find her and tell her everything. Everything. It's just a silly snapshot. Her smile is genuine, but grudging. Like whoever took the picture insisted she do it. Her head's cocked just a little to the side, and something in her eyes just says, "I get it, Carlos. Come here and talk to me, and then let's make love." It looks like she's in a park, maybe this one. A few trees are scattered in the scenery behind her. "Sister," Trevor gurgles, and I quickly wipe the hungry glow off my face. She is caught up in this too. When he says this, his head jerks towards the shimmering emptiness beside us. This what, man? What is this? Closing the gap, Trevor whispers. The living and the dead don't have to be so far apart. Like, he takes a deep, death-rattled breath. I manage to hide my impatience for about 3 seconds. Like what, man? Like us. You and me and another excruciating pause. Sasha. Sasha. The hand holding the picture feels like it's on fire. I raise it up to his face. Sasha, I say, failing to disguise the hope in my voice. She's like us. She's in between. I almost break into a dance when Trevor nods his head. Suddenly, the park seems very luminous and beautiful at this hour. The night birds are singing, and somewhere a few blocks away, Park Slope rocks to the New Year's revelry of 2,000 wealthy white kids. Please, Trevor is saying when I return from my reverie, find Sasha. Keep her safe. Done. No problem. How else can I help you today, sir? Safe from the council. I say, trying to slow my thoughts. City council? Did you know it's possible to really irritate a dying person? Even an already mostly dead dying person. I don't recommend it, though. Trevor looks like he's thinking about using the last of his life force to make a grab for my cane blade and cut some damn sense into me. Right, I say quickly. The Council of the Dead. He nods. New York City chapter. My bosses. Surely he must know this, but whatever Trevor does or doesn't know is quickly becoming a non-issue. He gurgles again, flinches, and then relaxes as death completes its finishing touches. At least he won't have far to travel. After gently placing Trevor's body into the entrada, I wander aimlessly around the park and work my way through the whole pack of malagueñas and all of my rum. There's too many thoughts in my head right now. If I venture out into the city, it'll mean instant input overload. The living and the dead don't have to be so far apart, Trevor said. Why are folks always so fucking cryptic right before they croak? Like us, he said. There's an us. All I've ever known of the afterlife has been the rigid bureaucracy of the council, and at first, that had been relief from the cold disregard of the living. And then, I just made friends with being the lone intermediary between the two, but now, when the council's icy fingers slide the photo of Sasha's wry smile and sleepy eyes across the table to me, I will nod my head like I always do. Then I will find her. I will honor the dying wish of her brother who I murdered and protect her from myself. And then I will ask her out. Thank you very much.